So guys, what we're going to talk about today is going to be building muscle. So we're going to talk a little bit about the three mechanisms of muscle hypertrophy, which is just a fancy way of saying building muscle. And we're going to break it down, and then I'm going to give you an example of my weekly training plan and how I implement these three mechanisms to ensure that I'm building muscle effectively. Now, obviously, these three mechanisms go hand in hand with having an adequate protein intake, so roughly about 1 gram per pound of body weight, give or take. And obviously, you need to be doing some sort of resistance training if you are looking to build muscle. So let's jump into the three mechanisms now. We'll break them down, and then I'll give you the training plan at the end, and you can go away and hopefully start using it and building some muscle. So let's jump straight into mechanism number one of muscle hypertrophy or muscle building, which is mechanical tension. As you can see from my lovely diagram on the screen, this is how I like to break it down with some examples of how we can implement these things at the end of the sort of graph. So we start off with mechanical tension, and then we have lifting heavy enough weights. So to cause mechanical tension, we need to be lifting significantly heavy weights, yeah? So we need to be making sure we're lifting heavy enough weights to actually cause that mechanical tension. And we could do that by implementing what is known as progressive overload. You've probably heard this one before. It's very, very common. And all it means is we are progressively overloading that muscle week after week, session after session, year after year, and progressively getting stronger, sort of thing. And then we could do that by actually implementing different training styles. So 5x5 training, German volume training, hypertrophy training, different sort of training styles to making sure we are mechanically overloading that muscle. And then below that one there, as you can see, we've got putting the muscle through its full range of motion. So fully lengthening the muscle and fully shortening the muscle to the contract position. And then we can do this by making sure it's under control, and we're going all the way down and all the way up. And we can put a lot more time under tension, which is also going to jump into one of our other mechanisms of muscle hypertrophy in just a second. So let's talk about number two, which is metabolic stress. And this is all to do with sort of lifting light to intermediate weights for a longer period of time. So we're stepping away from doing heavy weights and doing 3 to 5 reps, and we're moving into the sort of 15 to 20 rep range, where we're really getting the pump in the muscle. You may have heard that getting through around loads of times. Arnold made it very famous. So we're sort of chasing that pump, and what we're doing is we're isolating the blood in the muscles, and we could do that by lifting light to medium weight over a period of time. And as you can see there, I've put some training methods that I put in there to make sure that I am achieving this. So you've got your drop sets, your supersets, force reps, and then as we spoke about with mechanical tension, going through the full range of motion, on this one here, what we can do is we can utilize using half reps, which is not going through the full range of motion, but it is giving us more time under tension, which is causing that blood flow to build up in the muscle, and obviously we get a bigger pump and so on, which is going to cause that metabolic stress, and therefore is going to help us build muscle. Muscle damage then is our next mechanism of muscle hypertrophy, and when we speak about muscle damage, we're obviously going to speak about delayed onset muscle soreness, or DOMS, and then we're going to speak about the different contractions and a couple of examples that I use on a weekly basis to ensure I'm getting the most bang for my buck out of them contractions. So moving on from DOMS then, we have to speak about eccentric contractions first, obviously, because these are going to cause the most muscle damage out of all the contractions that we have on the screen there. And the way that we can make these contractions a lot more beneficial for us instead of just dropping the weight is by using things like negative reps. So what a negative rep is controlling the weight under that negative phase of the repetition. So when we push the weight up to the sky, when the weight is coming down, we're controlling it nice and slow under a 3 count or a 4 count, and just count to 4 or 5 seconds in your head, and making sure that we're really controlling that muscle and causing as much damage as possible. If you've got a spotter there and you can add a little bit more weight to the bar and get a little bit of a helping hand getting the weight up, and then really controlling it on the way down, because our muscles can withstand a lot more weight in the eccentric part of the movement, then that would be really beneficial, and it's going to really help cause a lot of muscle damage, which in turn can help increase strength and obviously muscle hypertrophy. So the next contraction we've got on the screen there is our isometric contraction, and this is where the muscle length stays exactly the same and is in the effect of sort of pause reps. So when you come down to the bottom of the movement, hold it for a couple of seconds, 1, 2, and then press up to the sky. And you can do it with squats and a lot of different exercises where you just take a little second at the bottom of the exercise or halfway through the exercise, hold, and then explode up, which takes us nicely onto our consecutive contractions, which is when the weight is going to the sky and the muscle is shortening. So we're contracting that muscle and we're squeezing as hard as we can. And some of the methods that I like to use to ensure that I'm getting the most bang for the buck out of this and sort of getting some athleticism out of it as well is explosive reps. So I like to do explosive push-ups where I'm plyometrically coming off the ground, pushing off the ground, getting a little bit of air. And also when I'm doing bench press and stuff like that, I'll push up as hard as I can, so I'm generating as much power as possible and causing as much muscle damage as possible. So that's the way I like to do it and some of the methods that I implement in my training regime. So moving on from that now, I'm going to take you into my weekly training regime and what I like to do on a weekly basis to implement these different things and these different mechanisms of muscle hypertrophy. So I'm getting the most bang for my buck and my training is fun and enjoyable. Okay, so what I want to quickly do now is just give you a quick example of my workout split. So I like to run a push-pull legs upper lower split. So what that is on Monday, day one, I do shoulders, chest and triceps. On day two, I'll do a pull, which is my back and biceps. And on day three, I will do solid lower legs. And then normally a little bit of abs with that as well, some core work. And then day four, I do a solid upper body workout. So that'll include all the upper body components and some core work as well. And then exactly the same on day five, but it's a lower. I'm including all the lower body components. I normally throw some core work in there as well. And I do some mobility. And as you can see throughout this training plan, I'm focusing on doing some sort of strength training as well as some sort of metabolic stress training as well. So the first exercise nearly in every single one of them is focused around building strength in that exercise. So flat bench, weighted pull-ups, Bulgarian split squat. I'm focused on building strength, yeah. So 5x5s, I'm focused on building strength, putting that muscle under mechanical tension. As we get further through the workouts, I'm focusing a little bit more on metabolic stress and increasing the rep range and getting that sort of pump and trying to build that muscle hypertrophy as much as possible. And then by doing all them things throughout the workout, I'm causing significant muscle damage. Sometimes I might mix it up a little bit on one of the exercises. I might throw some pause reps in, I might throw some negative reps in to ensure that I'm causing as much muscle damage as possible. And as we come to day 4 and 5, I'm sort of just picking up lag and body parts and just trying to have a bit of fun with my workout as well and just enjoying the workout as we're doing them week by week. I don't like to sort of focus on doing the exact same exercises week after week after week. I mix it up quite frequently, but what I do try to concentrate on is getting stronger in them 3 top exercises week after week. So my flat bench, my weighted pull-ups and my Bulgarian split squats, I will track that and make sure I'm progressively overloading that exercise, but I don't do it with every single exercise because it just become a pain in the ass. So what I do like to do is just focus on them 3 and that keeps me happy enough, and then I'll mix it up as I go along. So if you wanted to do that, you could change the exercises to stuff that you like to do. So if you like to do incline bench press, then do that. If you like to do standing overhead press for shoulders, track that, do that. If you don't like to do pull-ups and you would like to do deadlifts instead, then do that and track your progress with that. But this workout plan here is going to cause significant damage to the muscle. You're going to be getting some metabolic stress and your muscle is going to be under mechanical tension throughout the workout. So it's pretty sort of adventurous if you look at it like that. There's a lot of sort of stuff going on here, and this is going to probably kick your ass if you're a beginner. So maybe take it down just to the 3 days, the push-pull legs, and then do that a week after week. If you're more of an intermediate and advanced, then obviously you can give this a go. But this is a sort of example. I just want to show you guys what a training plan may look like to cause all them 3 mechanisms of muscle hypertrophy. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and you got a little something for this. If you did, please leave me a comment down below. Maybe even drop me a like, subscribe. I don't know, it's up to you guys. If you're feeling adventurous, then do that. There's going to be more videos coming. I try to keep this as simple as possible. I'm not citing this or anything. I'm just speaking from my experience and giving my sort of take on this whole muscle hypertrophy thing. So if you did enjoy this, please leave a like and I'll see you in the next video.